But right at the moment, everybody's crying. No one's selling records anymore. CDs, the downloading problem,
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Does it affect you in any way, or what's
It probably does. It probably does. I think it probably affects everybody because it's the way it is. You know, I mean, people download music because they can. You know, everybody's on the internet. If you've got broadband, especially, which makes everything quicker, you can download a single in a couple of minutes. You know, and then you've got it. You just burn it onto disc. You can play it any way you like, or an MP3, whatever. It makes it difficult because I can't blame people for doing that, because if I was 16 or 17 or whatever, I would be doing it as well. But it makes it difficult for the music business, because the record industry then is scared because they're not making profits. And the record industry is about making profits. That's what it's about, especially more now than ever, you know. In the 60s and 70s, it was always about it. But then you were talking to music men, people who were running record companies, usually came from a background of music. Now the people who run record companies are lawyers and accountants. So their main idea is money and business and how much profits and with the shareholders and all that stuff. So the record industry isn't prepared to spend money on anybody anymore because it's frightened of not making it back, which makes it difficult for new talent to come up. So the long-term scenario might be that if they don't somehow key into this internet thing and sort it out in some way, so they can make, I mean, there are now record companies that are setting up things where you can actually download music and it's cheaper, but you don't get the package, you don't get the picture, you just download the music and you can get it for whatever, €3 or €5, whatever they charge you. But at least you know you're going to get a good quality, and at least you're not going to... Because one of the things about when you're downloading, if you go onto one of these sites where you download, you can end up getting viruses, you know, because people can then you're connected with other internet users. That's the way they do it now, to get past the legality of it. You're connected with anybody who happens to have that song, who's on the internet, who's got it in their computer or on their hard drive. You then download it from their computer. But the downside is, if anybody wants to, they can also then let you download or send you a virus, which can then completely ruin your whole system, you know. So that's the downside of it, that's the problem with it. So if the record companies could make a safe downloading site where they charge less money for a CD than they do for a CD, maybe people would use that. And I think some of them are looking into that, because that could be the future. Because without some kind of revenue, some kind of money coming into the record companies in some way, they're not going to be signing artists. And if artists aren't going to get signed, how are they going to afford to make albums? And who's going to release the albums or singles? And eventually, that means that the music will dry up, because nobody's going to be able to afford to make music anymore. Nobody's going to be able to put out CDs anymore. Nobody's going to and then there'll be nothing to download apart from old stuff, because there'll be no new material anymore. So it's a problem from people in the music industry, including me. But as I say, you certainly can't blame somebody for thinking, well, I can get that for free, why should I go out and pay, you know? But personally, I don't do it, because I prefer, if I like a piece of music enough, I usually want to see the thing and read the words and look at the cover and see who produced it, and I want to get the whole package, you know, and keep it in a place. But I can see with young kids that, you know, download this, I've got that now, that's fine, you know.
Well, on the other hand, a lot of people say that the live scene's on the rise again, because the people out there want to see real musicians on real stage playing and performing real music.
Yeah.
Is this the hope for the future?
Well, I think that's a great thing, you know. I think that's got to be fantastic for the live scene to go up, because I love that for me. It's good for me, because that's great, you know, people coming to see concerts more and more. And it suits me, because I've got a good band, I do a live act, and, you know, that's our thing. So that's good. But you still need to be able to get it out into the public domain and then onto the media, so that people can see that. So which is why things like doing DVDs then comes into its own. That's how that works. So yeah, it's great for the live thing, but the next step then is you need to record the live thing and put it out as a CD, and then you've got the problem, people are going to download it instead of buy it, and so nobody's going to pay for the CD to make it in the first place. So the problem is still there, and unless they sort something out with the way people buy music in future, where they can just download it directly or whatever. Unless they do something, then it's going to be tough.
Right, in the end, I have a historical question. Over the last 30 years, you had quite a lot of hits, but I think most of the people say Agia, Chris Norman, Smokie, living next door to Alice. Can you tell our listeners how this song came about, written by Mike Chapman and Mickey Sheen?
Yeah.
At the time, your producer?
What happened with Living Next Door to Alice was, right, we were in the studio in America, in Los Angeles, and we were recording, I'm trying to think which album it was. Midnight Cafe, maybe? No, was it? No, it was after that. Bright Lights Back, I don't know. We were in recording one of those albums. And we'd got like, the whole thing, we'd written so many songs, and there was a couple of songs by Chin and Chapman, and we knew what we were doing, we recorded quite a lot of it. And then one day Mike Chapman came in and said, what about this song, Living Next Door to Alice? We went, it's a big country, you know what I mean? It's not really us, you know. And he said, well, yeah, but it'd go well in America because there's a big country audience in America. And it'd go well in America, and we still need to break America. We haven't broken America yet. We think it could do well in America, so what about recording it? And we'll just put it out in America. We won't put it out anywhere else. So we went, okay, on that basis, we'll do it. So I went to the studio and recorded it as it is, as the way it came out. And it was a good record. It sounded like a good record, but it still sounded very schmaltzy, a little bit country and everything. So we said, well, it's okay. It's only going to be out in America. So that was the plan. And then the record came back to England and to the record company in England, and Mickey Most, who was the head of the record label, called us in for a meeting into Rack Records, and we went in and he said, we know the single. We said, well, yeah, what is it? And we thought it was going to be like whatever else was on it. He said, Living Next Door to Alice. We went, no, it's not Living Next Door to Alice. That's not the one. That was just for America. But we like it. We think it's a big hit. Yeah, but we don't want to do that. That's not what we... So then we go to Germany, and we're out with the record company, EMI we were with, and Marlies Breuer, who was the head of the label in Germany, said, we've picked the single. What is it? Living Next Door to Alice. So we were kind of like surrounded everywhere. We're Living Next Door to Alice. It's a big hit. So in the end, we just caved in and went with it. But and they were right. It was a big hit. It was a massive hit everywhere. It was a huge hit. But at the same time, it gave us a different brand than what we were trying to get, you know. And once we'd got that, we were stuck with it, you know. So, good thing or bad thing, I don't know. I don't know. I think there was a lot of other records that kind of would have made us still popular. We maybe wouldn't have had that Living Next Door to Alice thing, but anyway, it was okay. By now, it's a song, you know. For me now, it's a song. It's a part of my history. We do it. It's fine, no problem.
Yeah, so looking back onto it then and now, nostalgia, or that was then, this is now, as you said before, for you personally speaking, playing this song tonight on stage.
Yeah, and now it's a song that I've kind of grown accustomed to because of the fact that we've been doing it for so long. I was doing it with Smokie for so long, and now I do it because people want to hear it. So I do it, and there's been some other versions of it in the meantime, you know, so it's become a bit of a... I don't know what it is now, but it's a song, you know. So I don't mind doing it anymore.
What do you think, or what was your first reaction hearing this version of the song?
Well, the first time I ever heard it, I thought it was kind of funny, you know. It was by Gompy, and I thought it was, you know, okay, funny. And then the new Smokie did a version of it, which I thought wasn't so funny, because I thought they should have just left it alone. But we've talked about that, haven't we, Terry? Oh, we're in that camera or that camera? Is that one on? Anyway, so, you know.
You re-recorded it as well for the Full Circle album.
Yeah, it got me on back.
Well, generally speaking, what makes it a song for you, personally speaking?
I like a song, for me, I mean, there's, you know, people look for commerciality in a song. Something that's got a good hook, got a good tune and good things so it's going to be a hit, which is a great way of doing it, and I definitely try and do that sometimes, try and write a song like that. But for me, a good song is one that makes me feel something. That's what makes me feel like a good song, if it moves me a little bit. Either makes me excited and wants to get up and dance, or makes me feel sad, or makes me feel... So it just does something. I think, for me, a great song is something that you want to turn up on the radio and it makes you feel, wow, that's a great song, So it has to move you in some way.
My last question, a well-known question for you, I think, future plans. I remember a very long time ago you said in an interview that you won't be on stage at the age of 56, and this will be, I think, the case on the...
Was it 56? Yeah. Is that what I said? I thought it was 57. It could have been 56.
Yeah, this will be a case in 2006 or 2007. Did you change your mind in between?
Well, yeah. But, the funny thing is when you're 27 or 8, which I was when I did that interview. That interview was from a documentary called Bright Lights and Back Alleys, which was to coincide with the album, and it was a documentary which we shot mostly in Switzerland while we were recording in Montreux. And that interview was in at 10 o'clock in the morning in the hotel restaurant thing, sitting at the breakfast bar. And I think I'd only just got up anyway. And he said to me, what do you think you'll be doing by the time you're older? Are you going to be still singing? And of course, at 27, 28, there was nobody. Couldn't think of anybody then who would have been playing rock and roll or singing rock and roll or at 56 or 57 years old. There wasn't anybody, nobody, because nobody had got that old yet. The McCartneys and your Tina Turners and your Tom Joneses and everybody else, they weren't that old yet, so it was unthinkable. The only people who were still performing at that kind of age was Sinatra and those kind of people. Well, they weren't doing rock and roll. So I said, well, I can't really see me sort of playing guitar. I even did the movement. I can't see me playing guitar and singing on stage doing rock and roll when I'm 56 or 57 or whatever it was I said. So I'll probably be writing and producing, or I want to stay in the music business, but I can't be doing that. I'll be too old. But of course, when you're 27, you think that is old, but now I'm 54. It doesn't feel any different. I feel the same, I feel the same now as I did when I was doing that interview, except maybe a little bit more experienced, but I don't feel old, I feel the same. I feel young, and as long as I feel good and healthy, and I can still sing, and I can still perform, and I can still move about a bit on stage without my legs giving way, then I'll still do it. And now, I wouldn't dare say I won't be doing it when I'm whatever, because I might still be doing it when I'm 80. I don't know. Who knows?
And future plans? What comes next for you?
Well, we got the lot of more shows to do. This new CDs, new DVD. This DVD. It all depends. Working in different countries, breaking through into different markets that haven't really come. There's a lot of things to do yet. A lot of things to work out, and how we're going to do it. I'll be working on a studio album later in 2005. I'll be starting on a new studio album, so I'm already starting writing for that. I've already got some new songs for that, so that'll be something. I don't know when that'll come out. Could be late in the year, or it could be 2006. I don't know. But continue, make music, break into different territories, keep writing songs and doing what I do as best I can do it.
Okay, famous last words. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.